So I just 2 minutes ago, finished Witcher 3, Witcher the Wild Hunt. How do you even say the name? I don't know. I've decided to scrap the idea of doing a video on everything negative with the game because I no longer see the point in that really. So I'll go over a few of the negativities first, the things that really bothered me, then we'll talk about what's really good about the game and what's somewhere in between. So, on the bad side, just like the norm for games these days, it's released buggy. Now, I want to say my experience with the bugs are just 10 times better than with Assassin's Creed 3, which was just. Yeah, just. I mean, I found a total of a few dozen bugs. Few dozen, somewhere between 30 and 50. But only 3 of these, maybe just 2, actually impacted my gameplay in a bad way. The other ones were just kinda, that's slightly annoying for 2 seconds. That just looks funny. Just, it wasn't bad. I mean, the first ones that came over were probably to do with the horse, to do with doors, and to do with when I knocked on a door. A lady became so scared she ran away from her clothes. Her clothes were actually stuck in the air, her skirt to be precise. And that happened again 2 or 3 days later. I saw it another time. So, it's buggy, but the bugs are not terrible. The bugs that can be bad, however, are the ones that don't let you summon your horse. You can't accelerate your boat. And doors don't open. These 3 are really annoying, and they impact your gameplay and make it just not work properly. But then you have the fun bugs, like your horse being stabled, and instead of being on its 4 legs, it's just on the front legs, with the butt straight up in the air. It's like the spine is just straight down pointing to the ground and heads forward with mouth down. Just, it looked funny, and the back legs are also gonna point straight down. That's just fun. That's fun to look at. And it unbugs as soon as you use the horse. So that's not a horrible bug. Then there's a fantastic gif about a horse that ran on its butt down a mountain that I had been on. That was hilarious. That made me laugh so much. It's like, those are the bugs I like, love even, and approve of. I'm so glad to see that most bugs in this game are just visual things, visual errors. Like somebody's face glowing for some reason in the middle of a cutscene. Just, who cares? That's not too big of a deal. So overall, it's pretty damn good. The bugs are not bad. They're not as bad as any other things I've seen. I mean, Titanfall, Battlefield. No, there was another thing I played that was buggy. Forgot what. But so many games I've seen have been buggy on day one, which is why I don't buy games on day one. But this game was bought to me by my friend Omega, so I really enjoyed it. And because he bought it for me, that's the only reason why I actually played it. On my own, I would probably have played the first one, second one, and then the third one, if I liked the first and second ones anyway. But now I felt like there was some story in the game itself that I should have known from playing the first and second game, but at the same time I felt like I didn't need the information to enjoy the game or get what the characters were, because if there was something that tied in with the past 2 games, they pretty much just said 1 or 2 sentences that summed up the events of the past games. So I didn't feel like I was left out, but I felt like I didn't quite understand it. So that only happened a few times. I would say less than 10. And that's pretty good. That's pretty good. It's a game you can just pick up on its own. You don't have to play the past games at all. What I think is good is the combat system's pretty darn good. It's dumber than the Assassin's Creed combat system in the sense that the game doesn't do the combat for you. You have to do it yourself. And that's actually better because that means players will be more skilled after playing the game. So if you're not a dumbass, you'll do just fine with this combat system. I'm a little disappointed at some of the main bosses being relatively friggin' easy. Like the last 2 bosses I fought in the main campaign were easier than the general I killed a few missions back. That's at least my opinion. And then the game kind of ended a little too soon. I felt like the game could have been longer. At the same time, since the game has mod compatibility and the campaign was that good, I feel like it justifies a $40 to $60 video game. And I think I've decided to have classifications of video games. So $40 to $60, that's just gonna be a group now, I think, in my reviews. And it's definitely worth somewhere in between there. That's what I feel. Because I played it pretty much non-stop for close to a week. Now, the game was not quite good enough to completely consume me. I've been looking for the next game that I can be fully immersed in and not give a shit about other games. But I did play a little bit of other games, and especially League of Legends with some friends. So it's not quite good enough to immerse me, but I have a really high standard. But at the same time, I couldn't stop playing it until I beat it. And I have a problem. Problem is, I want to go back, finish a lot of the side quests that I picked up, and find some new ones. On the other hand, I beat the game, and I don't have desire to play games that I beat. So there's an inner conflict. Ugh. But the game has mod compatibility, and oh my god, I can't wait to mod it. But I guess my final complaint is that I finally got to craft some really friggin' good gear, some awesome gear. I was like, I'm not gonna replace this for the rest of the game because I think it looks kick-ass, I'll keep it. And then it's like 5 minutes later, oh, I beat the game. Eh. The thing is, they did actually they had the means to create a new ending, kinda like a third war. I would say there are 2 wars in the game, then the game's over. I think there should have been a third one. There should have been a final or a finale, but there was none, and that feels disappointing because it's just now that I get the best gear in the game and I don't get to use it for more than just the second war. You kidding me? I spent hours exploring to get this gear. Then I even did some stupid side quests so I could get the missing 2 reagents to craft everything, complete the set. Then I do like 5 quests, and now I don't need it anymore because I beat the game. Like, really? And also in the open world, I think we need more monsters, more big monsters and even larger ones. I took a screenshot of a monster that kind of bugged out as it died, so it died in the air, and it looked bigger than it should have been, and it looked like my character was just the size of its neck. And I thought, if it was truly that size, then it would be challenging and really cool to fight. And it also reminded me of Monster Hunter. So I think the game suffers from not having monsters of different sizes, but rather the same size, kinda same looks on most things, like basilisks, griffins, arc griffins. They just look all the same. Then there are sirens and something else that also look the exact same. It's just a few reskins with different colors. So I was a little bit disappointed there, but overall it feels really good. Then you quickly learn the strategy on how to beat them. Then it takes a little while to actually master them, so you get hit very little. But I found that some enemies were just impossible to dodge, even if I did. And you're not supposed to be able to dodge them, even if you dodge perfectly. Instead, the dodge diminishes the damage you take, and that's an interesting design that I like. So overall, voice acting is, I would say, 8.5 out of 10. I mean, it's kind of unrealistic when you have one character go, yeah, I'm Geralt, and I think we should do this and that. And the other one goes, yeah, we gotta do this. Can't you hear me? It's a blizzard. Oh my god, you're talking normally while I'm yelling. Ah. It's like, why is one character speaking like he's sitting in a room having coffee, and the other one is screaming as if she's outside? Like, did anyone revise this? Hello? It seems like There's a disconnect here between the voice acting and the animation. Hello. So there are some slip-ups, and that's what gets the voice acting 8.5. It should be at 9 out of 10 at least, but it's not. I also liked how they portrayed some characters to be either good or bad or somewhere in between, and how they kept you guessing, at least with a few characters, whether they were good or bad, like that. And the card game in the game I kinda like, but the card game, it's infuriating. Like, it's such a good card game, but it takes like 40 hours before you can finally get new cards and expand on the game. Like, god damn. And some enemies will be completely unfair. Like, the toughest card you have is 6 damage. What can an enemy do? Summon something with 6 damage, that also summons everything from the deck with 6 damage and the same ability. Because F you! Seriously, that's not cool. And the worst thing is, with one card they can double that again. So it's like, one card actually was 3. Those 3 actually became 6. At the cost of 2. So with the cost of 2 cards, they got 6. With one card, I got 1. Yeah. It's like, what the hell are you doing, guys? Why? Why did that have to happen with that minigame? That was actually fun. It's just, oh, I want to punch someone in the face. And a lot of things actually felt kind of poorly done in the game, if I'm to be frank. Like, I had done a side quest where I discovered this little thing. Spoilers. So, later, following the story, following a trail, meet up, and I see 2 people go, and this little thing that I've seen earlier walks along, and I have no idea who it is. Like, I've seen that exact dude or thing earlier, and I have no memory of what it is. Duh. Then for some reason after that quest, then I suddenly kinda knew. It's like, why? Why is there a disconnect between quests? Like, I feel like either I should have knowledge from the side quest I did, or number 2, the side quest should not have been available until I had done this main quest. Like, I feel like a lot of polishing is needed in certain places. And I've long wondered, why do people put something into their games without playtesting it? Or why do they make something for a game, not test it fully, and then put it in the game? I've seen that a few occasions in this game where it's happened, where something is, but shouldn't be. But overall, I really like the game. Music is very good. I mean, it's average to above average. I wouldn't say awesomely, amazingly fantastic, but it's really good. I mean, it's fitting. It was never out of place. It was always perfectly matched to the mood. But like, compared to all the games that I play, which are pretty much only single A, double A, triple E games, there it falls under average, because every single game that I play pretty much has the sound done very well. So, next I will say that the looks of armor is kinda, yeah, I have mixed feelings. Like, the thing's meant to be awesome and to be set awesome looking, and then everything else, I don't know. It's like I mostly have a problem with trousers and chest pieces. Like, some chest pieces are just completely ugly, and some trousers are ugly too, with a giant thing, a giant crotch thing. It's just really mixed feelings. Just really mixed feelings on that. But swords, absolutely fantastically beautiful. Love it. And pretty much the only viable weapons I've seen are two-handed swords and two-handed axes. That's it. And I only ever used one axe, because the newest axe I found for level 33 was actually only 15 damage better than my sword. And I thought the attribute and sockets on my sword were actually better. So, yeah, so pretty much only swords throughout the whole game, nothing else. Despite the fact that you do pick up some maces and axes. And I find that to be kinda meh. But I do like how they didn't go all fantasy on the swords. I love that the swords look realistic. They choose so many different designs. Just love it. So they get a 9.5 out of 10 on the sword designs. I just think some need to be better and there needs to be more variety. And maybe on a rare occasion, could there maybe be a katana, just so it's not all looking medieval, because that's all I see, but I don't even see any Viking looking swords. No Espanola swords, just pretty much only European Middle Age stuff, or European medieval stuff. But they all look gorgeous most of the time. God damn it, I forgot a complaint I had. God friggin' dang it. Yes, now I remember. Within like 5 levels I found 20 different swords, and I have to say, why? Why do you have 20 different swords dropping from the main story quest in like 5 levels? Why? I wanna really facepalm at this and punch the dev again. And then there's the awesome sword dumpling quest that I really enjoyed doing. Turn it in level 20, got a level 18 sword that sucked balls, worse than my level 17 sword. And the thing is, this quest, it promises a sword fit to slay gods. It's like, this is the monoflavor best sword you're ever gonna get in the entire freaking game. Then I get something below my level that sucks balls. So I reloaded my save, did it again at 29, got a level 25 sword. Sure, it beat the sword that I previously had for level 23, but of course at that time I could craft a weapon that was better, and 1 level later I could upgrade that weapon again. So for the level, not worth it. It's like, you said the sword was supposed to be able to slay a god, yet it was never better than anything else for the same level. Heck, it was worse than the sword I had from a random bandit. Like, I feel so sad that the game developers put this in the game. And on top of this, like, when I did something in Skellige, like, I picked up a super awesome quest in the chest on the way. Something dropped also an awesome sword. I come back. Some guys have a fight. No wait, not that. I'm supposed to fight someone, so I ask a guy for favor. He can't give me the favor. He gives me the family sword. Then I partake in a bet with a fight. I win, so I get somebody else's family sword. Right after that, I go back to the guy who asked for help or whatever. He gives me a new friggin' sword. All within 1 level. Like, what? Are you serious? What? What's up with the game design here? Like, a special sword should be special. It should be unique. It should take me several levels to find an upgrade. I shouldn't find like 3, 4, 5 different usable swords per level. Like, what the hell? Especially because loot is kind of scarce the first few levels, which is something I don't get. Like, so scarce, and then suddenly just loot. The worst thing, they aren't throwing loot at you, they're throwing swords. It's like, it feels like they listen to some feedback like, oh yeah, players can never actually find a good weapon in time, and it sucks to not have one when you level up like 2 levels and there isn't a new one. Yeah, we get it, it kinda sucks. But they completely forgot to make armor drop. Before I crafted new boots, I had level 12 boots for 15 levels. So, just, why? Why do you drop 20 swords when 2 of them I need? Like, 1 of them was a silver sword. I never get silver swords, so that was great. Another one finally beat a sword that I had forever, which was really a really cool sword that I liked and didn't really want to replace. So just, they need to reduce the amount of steel swords that drop. They need to increase the amount of silver swords by 2 to 3 times the amount of drop rate, because they are a pain in the ass, especially in the early game. And they need to desperately increase the armor drop rates. I mean, Jesus, the armors you get usually suck. It's like there are a few that are really good that you'll keep forever, but with swords there are just too many. And I think it sucks. It's like the top tier swords, you get at least 1 drop per level after level 15 or so. Like, a special sword doesn't feel special because when every sword is special, no sword is special. So overall, I give this a confused out of 10. That's my rating, confused out of 10. I absolutely recommend it if you like RPGs, pretty much. Action RPGs with good fighting systems. And the last complaint, I guess, is that levels matter a bit more than your gear. I was hoping this was a game where you could go out in the world, explore, beat challenges, get gear that made you stronger, and beat the game based on your gear, but levels matter a lot more, because you get base stats from levels. So I'm pretty sure if you had just the starter gear, you could actually beat the game in just that, even though it's weak as shit, simply because all you need to do is level up. Whew. Yeah, that should be it. I have a lot more negative things to say about the game than positive, simply because the positive things are just pretty much around the board. They cover a lot of big areas, so I can't really speak about them as much or as long. But the game really has a lot more positive to it than negative. So yeah, absolutely recommended. But confused out of 10, that's all I can give it, because I don't know if I can rate a game before I consider it complete, because I really don't consider it complete until they fix a few bugs and until they really polish up the drop rates on things and the quest lines, because really, quests, man, they gotta make them appear in order. Oh right, and the quest markers are also bugged sometimes, telling you to do an objective you've already done, so you have to guess where to go and how to fix the quest yourself. So, that should be it. So, thanks for watching, hope you enjoyed. See you next time.